dreams die. Rely on yourself and no way. Believe.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, everyone had a good weekend. I did. I had an eventful weekend. My smallest turned 8 on Saturday. That day, in and of itself, lent to some interesting events. You'll be hearing about that here soon, hopefully. In either case, welcome. Now, today is different, a little bit different for this channel. This particular show is going to be about some awareness that I think most of us already have, but for some of us that might be watching this that don't necessarily subscribe to the normal content, this is more of a heads up. Just trying to give you some warning. Most of the ones that listen already stay away anyway from what I'm going to show you, but the reason I picked this topic was because unlike most video games before that, now I'm a gamer. I play. But unlike other games, this one they went above and beyond to open a certain portal, not just to kids. This isn't necessarily for kids. It's rated a high enough rating that a parent or an adult would have to buy it and allow children to play. So a lot of this stuff is on parents and adults. But the campaign for marketing is what got me looking into it. And then I saw the trailer for it, and I cannot show you the trailer because I'm pretty sure I'll get a content violation or strike for it. Because it's that dark. They even mention that what they're doing is opening a gate, and people will say, "Well, that's what they're talking about the game." I would say that if the game wasn't applying to so much of what's going on today. So I have a couple of pictures that I want to show you, and then you will watch a commercial that they had for it with a certain individual that's in it, and I think you might recognize her. Megan Fox. We talked about her on Too Strong before, and her dealings with blood sacrifices and rituals and all that stuff. Needless to say, she's part of it. So this is a still from the game. Not sure you can recognize what that is, but if you can recognize what that is, and this is the portion of the game trailer where they are summoning Lilith. And if you know anything about Lilith, I won't necessarily go into a whole lot about Lilith, but let's just say she has blood ties in the lore to Satan himself. And everything about this game revolves around the use of blood for portals and sacrificial things and killing people so you can get their blood harvest and all that stuff to get to different portals. So it is definitely one of those over the top. I know there's tons of people that play this game, and it's become a bestseller. my goal is to make sure to keep people aware of what it's actually trying to do. This is a meeting for the marketing campaign. And if you take a good look at the environment, it if you've been involved in some of these conspiracy theories about certain individuals, you'll recognize that it looks an awful lot like the meetings that a certain individual by the name of Abramovich would have. Um, it is an intentional um, push to the darker side. And if it were just saying, okay, this is for adults only and blah, 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 and adults make the decision, I could see that. And if they left it to where they had a um, content warning, and if the kids play it, it'd be on the parents, that'd be one thing. If you're telling me that you're not targeting the kids, I could get that. That'd be one thing. However, however, that is not the case because in their advertising, they have a clothing line for Diablo 4. And this is all kids. All kids. Okay? All kids' clothing. They have all of the symbolism that goes along with the occult for the kids. It just keeps going on. They have it purposefully. And I'm not talking about just kids of a certain age above 5 and 6. We're talking about children, infant. They even have ones to put on their face. One with Lilith herself. The marketing campaign has even gone so far as to advertise in downtown New York. Welcome to hell, New York. 6623. You get what the 23 is though? Can you get the math going here? Can you see it? 2 3s are 6. 6 6 6. Six, six, six. Now, everyone has a choice to make. This is not me trying to tell people that what I'm showing you should make you want to stop. This is all your choice. I'm just trying to show you the other side of this. What they're trying to advertise is not just a game. They are intentionally trying to help you buy into the concept of the occult. To tell you how bad it really is, I'll show you what the symbols in the game are linked to. So this is the conjuration, okay, for the Satanists. The same circles that you see here on this diagram is the same circles you'll find on the floor of the picture I showed you before in the game. The same place they invoked Lilith is the exact same symbol that's on the floor. Okay, we all know. Okay, if you've never known anything about Diablo, Diablo 1, 2, and 3, they all have the same premise. Okay, there are men on Earth who are trying to, with the aid of some of the celestial beings, try and fight back Diablo. And so, whereas before in the prior Diablos, Diablo was not the one that you were trying to hail and be the one that you are rooting for. That was not the case before. Diablo was the one that was the bad guy. The advertising was not built around the bad guy. The advertising and the goal was to defeat. Now, the goal is built around the blood. It's built around Lilith, the lore of Lilith, the lure of Lilith, the excitement of hell and the dark. It's a complete, now, mind you, I'm sure they brought you in slowly, but don't think for a minute that this was something that they only did in the game. Okay. Because I'm sure many of you remember the emo movement. And I'm sure tons of you remember the goth movement and the fascination around the dark. While it was low key back then and it was just about being, a different type of personality, you were a recluse most of the time and you liked a certain type of music, and no one really thought of you as a Satanist necessarily, but we knew that you had an affinity for something for dark stuff. But it was the precursor to where we are now because it was normalized back then. It was a cool thing back then. Not so much now. It's not just cool, it's the acceptance of all of it. It has now become common nature. Now, the reason I know that they're pushing this satanic stuff is because they're celebrating certain milestones with their sales. If it were just that you're celebrating that you had a large, okay, things are doing fine. But that's the number you're going to pick to celebrate that you crossed? Really? Like, really? You know what I mean? There are just certain things that they'll do that is extreme and over the top for this. Because what they really have is this within the entire context of the game. They even have the eye in there. Now, remember I said that in the prior Diablos, the context was trying to get rid of the bad guy. Whereas now, they're celebrating him. And I want you to watch this real quick. And this is the commercial that they have out for it. Okay.
If there's one thing I love, it's the sight of blood. And in Diablo 4, there are rivers of it. Show me your worst endgame death with hashtag Diablo deaths, and you might get a eulogy from yours truly, telling the world that you went out like a hero. Or a chump.
Okay. Now, to get to the crux of why I decided to tackle this topic. I said before, I am too a gamer. I grew up on Mario and Sonic and Street Fighter, all those games. I still play today as my pastime. I choose very wisely the games I play. I don't like playing along with people. I stick to myself where it's offline and just me. I don't necessarily like it. I do some online team playing, but Um, the darkness of the games matter to me because I know that it has become a, whether I like to believe it or not, it's a portal now. What used to be good in terms of fun, simple, nothing, just now it's not. It I couldn't even tell you when it transferred over. Um, and it's not all, mind you, not all games. Not all games are like this. But because they lump them all together now, it has become very difficult to navigate that water. What used to be um, a normal game to play like Mario has now become something other. They're starting to slip little subtle things into these games now. And they'll still package them as kids' games, but they're not. Um, with Diablo, they're not even remotely trying to tell you that it's nice anymore. There was a character in Diablo 3, an angel that would help you. And the gameplay itself was more so about you eliminating, not joining, eliminating the evil. The complete and utter jump from that as the emphasis to joining and being more of the aid to the dark is ridiculous. It's crazy how much it's jumped. Even the trailer for it when it first dropped um, had a blood sacrifice in the trailer. Um, the full ritual and all. And I know that they're marketing to the adults, but the children are going to get in front of it because of the parents, because of the adults that are purchasing it. They're literally purchasing it for the children. This is now a new frontier. Even for me, it's a new frontier of things. Um, I don't foresee myself getting any new games. I'm sticking to what I know is fine. I'm not. None of the new ones coming out make any sense to me anymore. They all have the same theme. If they're not pushing you towards sex, they're pushing you towards the occult. Movies have now run their course. Movies have run their course. They can't get any more influence of movies on the kids. They've run out of concepts for that. That's no longer an attraction for them to get kids into watch. No matter how many children's videos they put out that have the dark themes to them, it's run out. That theme has run out. The only frontier they have left are games. That's the only frontier they have left to get to the kids. And they get to the kids by the adults because there are less and less and less vigilant adults than there were ever before. Like period. The same children that are out, the children that are out today are from parents who grew up in an era where they knew the difference and now they don't. They don't care. With Diablo, there is a marked, and I mean significantly marked, darkness about it. Welcome to Hell, where she is the main character that they push. Fight the darkness is no longer the theme. Embrace it is now the theme. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. If it's not in Pride Parade, if it's not in the month that they celebrate, if it's not in after school Satan's Club, if it's not in the Commonwealth Games, embracing the dark side of life is now the cool thing to do. Do you know how easily they got adults to buy into this? Do you remember that series? There were two of them. It wasn't Grimm. There were two brothers, and they were hunting spirits or something like that. And I forget the name of the show that they were. They had that. You had Charmed. You had a bunch of these shows that started coming out that made the occult the good guy. Do you remember a bunch of those coming out? There was a Supernatural. There it is. Yeah. There was a time frame where all of a sudden you saw all these extra dark but good guys coming out. You remember seeing those? And then they came up with a another one called Evil. You remember that one? And then they had another one where it was all about the gods, and I forgot the name of that one too. But it was all about the dark gods. And then they came up with the one most recently, which is Lucifer. And Lucifer was the good guy. Lucifer was a good guy. In fact, the most recent commercial I saw for that was Lucifer confronting who they said was God. Now, watch this carefully, okay? Lucifer confronts, yes, American gods. Yep. Lucifer confronts God and speaks to him as though God is his father by actual fathering, and talks about how when God met his mother, Lucifer's mother, and Lucifer is telling God that you're the reason I'm the way I am. This is your fault. If you weren't such an absentee father and so mean-spirited, I would not be Lucifer. And then demands an apology of God. This has become the new normal. And I know of quite a few believers that watch that show and like it. Heck, we've bought into even the more subtle ones of The Chosen. We've bought into The Chosen, for crying out loud. Let believers not act like they don't get suckered into stuff too. We are talking about a blatant arrival of the dark one. We have gone that far. It has now become common nature. Yes, I forget the name of programs because they're so, for me, forgettable. Does that make the program less real? Because I forgot the name of the program? What? I swear to some people, man. I want people to be aware of this. I know most of the audience will probably not have to deal with it because you don't move around in this particular realm. I get it. But there are many who do. And for those who do, if you know them and they may not be aware, help them be aware. This is no longer about the entertainment of something. What you entertain, you allow in. What you entertain, you allow in. Whether you like it or not, it's in. Having a where they're telling you that they're trying to create portals. They're trying to tell you they're creating portals. I even go back to subtle inferences. Stargate. I keep looking back throughout these little times in history, my movies that I've used to watch, where they will try and show you little hints that they're slowly pushing you towards that, normalizing it in your mind. In the 80s, the horror genre became a big thing, like big. It was a big deal. It was a big deal in the 80s. Like I remember growing up and almost every other movie was a horror movie. Do you remember how big Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason were? Jeepers Creepers and Hills Have Eyes and all these. It was a flooding up the market with horror movies. The Ring was out in the late 90s, 2000s. Chucky became a name brand in the house. The Chucky dolls were going around. And if you remember anything about Chucky, the whole reason he became that was because of a satanic ritual to transfer his soul. Carrie, The Haunting. Trust me, I used to watch them all. I was a massive horror movie fan. Like, I mean, if a horror movie was out, I was watching it. The Conjuring, The Nun. If there was a horror movie out before 2005, 2008, I watched it. I was engulfed in it. So trust me, I let enough of them things in to last me a lifetime. The Exorcist. But my statement for saying all that is like they've been putting it out there for you to be more fascinated and engrossed with the dark macabre side of things. It is they want you to think more along those lines. And they will make it exciting. They will make it intriguing. They will make it something that you want to participate in. They don't even ignore children anymore. They bring them in. They bring them in now. And now through the games. I remember even when the games were having some sort of a dark theme, the prevalent person in it was the one person holding on to the light. When everything else seemed to be going completely awry, the one person that the game pushed to the forefront as the champion was the one person holding on to light. That's not the case anymore. Every one of the good guys are now, they have to channel the dark to beat the dark. And I want you to try and make that make sense. And there always seems to be a choice in there now for you to choose the dark side. Heck, if you even look at the Star Wars franchise, the same thing. It used to be a massive push for the Jedi, the good guys. All religion things aside, it used to be the good guys fight for the Jedi. They have now made the Sith the cool guys. All the Sith have all the cool protagonists. No longer the good guys. All of the cool gear, cool characters, the OP ones are on the Sith. It has been a gradual push to the dark. Case in point, another one, if you think it's not true. When you look at these movies where they advertise for a movie, okay, so you're advertising the movie and the movie has good guys and bad guys. Watch and see if 80% of the movie is not advertising the bad guy. Just go take a look and see if it's not advertising the bad guy. Just take a quick look and just see how many of them you watch are promoting the personality and the story of the bad guy. It is pervasive, and Diablo 4 has done what no other video game has ever done before. And that's finalized the bridge between the dark occult and human existence. It has done that fully now. It has the biggest group, the biggest group following it now. It is making money on your soul. And people are going slowly but surely, well, now it's rapidly, towards it. They're buying into it. They have marketed this so well that no one has a problem with people seeing Satan as the good guy and handing his clothes to their children. There is a war, and it's a war for your soul. And if you're not vigilant, you are going to give in. Thank you, Kim. and lose this war. If you keep seeing everything as, oh, it's just, and oh, it's just, and oh, it's just, you're not going to put any emphasis on stopping. It's not that bad of a sin. This is just how I am. Don't you worry about me. I'm fine. And ironically, we'll be talking about this, of how suckered Christians have become tonight on Too Strong. With this whole Kanye birthday party thing. If you have not seen his birthday party, you will tonight. Yeah, exactly. That's true. I have it. I have Apex too, and I'm realizing that. That's the other thing that they're doing now. So characters are now almost androgynous. You can't tell whether it's male or female. They're making it so bad, and this is they did this with at one point they started to do this with another game called Fortnite, and they actually got backlash. They got backlash from parents and players alike, and they kind of regressed on it. They went back, they left it alone. So there are things we can do. If you are a gamer, there are things you can do to fight back by not purchasing certain games. But I believe that Diablo 4 made the kind of impact it did because of the marketing they did and who they invoked to help. If this was just a regular advertising, I don't think it would have sold. I don't think it would have sold. But I think they had help from a certain entity. They had help from a certain entity. We have a choice ahead of us, people. And here's a bad thing. Our choice isn't necessarily fighting it in protests and all that crap. We have to protest by not participating. That's it. Just stop participating. Your best bet is to stop participating. There is a unhidden push now for everyone to do their own and to not only ignore the good but embrace the evil. With a poster that says welcome to hell, you're telling me that you're okay with the entity that's in the game. when you start to emphasize the darker side of it as opposed to the winning of the light over dark, you've lost all semblance of balance. Now, if you are not a Christian and you watch this review of Diablo, decide for yourself. I'm not here to try and dissuade you. I gave you the information. You want to keep playing it. Don't complain then if something starts going awry in your life. If you're cool with it, you're cool with it. Everyone has to map their own life out. Map it out for yourself. We have to live with the decisions we make. You have to. That's the one thing in life. You live with the decisions you make. But I say stay away from Diablo 4. If you know somebody, please just for your own good. This particular one, it being this blatant, and then try and figure out if you're a gamer. I did this forever ago. Just whatever. If you're a gamer, just go through and decipher for you. Make sure you figure out what you're doing, because you can't be the smallest thing you let in, man. If you're not aware, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I stick to a handful of them. And I know that from the handful that I have, I'm golden. I don't need no fancy stuff. I don't need any dark light protagonism. I don't need any of that stuff. It's just stuff I do. That's my hobby. Some people fish, some hunt. I game. But I'm also very aware. I'm very aware of what I put in front of me. I am very aware. People need to be aware. If you're not aware, you're in trouble. And that goes for everything. You can use anything to escape. But this is specifically about a direct assault on your soul. It's a direct assault on your soul. This is a blatant trying to grab you from one side to bring you to the other. Be aware, people. Please be aware. Too Strong will be on tonight. We are, in case you didn't see it, Kanye West had a birthday party, and everything we thought that he was, he is. If you hadn't seen what he did yet, whoo-wee. In any case, when you see it, it's crazy. A P.O. box scrolling at the bottom. It will be, well, I don't know if what he did is on YouTube. I know people have covered it so far. But yeah, that's a crazy thing. A crazy thing. So we'll catch up with that tonight, 8:00. Savage Patriots will be on today to discuss the new currency that will be coming, the new digital currency. In case you guys didn't know it was coming, it's coming. With all the other shiny objects they've been putting in front of you, as Michael likes to say, it's coming. It is coming. So be on the lookout for that. 8, too strong. 6:30. Savage Patriots. No mix tonight. It's Monday. We'll have the mix tomorrow. So the only other two left today. Of course, we have Royalty at 5. I think she's at 5. So she's at 5. And if you haven't found her channel, it's Royalty Realist on YouTube. She's on at 5. Savage Patriots at 6:30. Too Strong at 8. We'll see you guys there on those lines up. And then tomorrow, my topics. I think some of you might have caught the lineup. If you didn't, let me know. But I have put on his the layout for the week. Tomorrow we'll be talking about God's faithfulness and what that actually means, as opposed to what people have now taken his faithfulness to be. And then Wednesday we'll be talking about the Valley of Dry Bones. Thursday I will have my wife on to help discuss the Holy Spirit. And on Friday we'll be talking about Mephibosheth. There was a clown that left a comment on one of my videos about Isaiah 53, and I'll be addressing that entire thing as a topic next week. Because I think while people may not like me addressing trolls, what he said needs to be addressed. Like, I mean, it needs to be addressed. Like, it's necessary. Because it's always one of two types of people that say this stuff. Either they're a BHI or they're an idiot and an atheist. In both cases, they're stupid people. But in one case, they think they're chosen, and in one case, thinks they're not. There's no such thing as chosen. Both are clowns. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that they're both idiots. Okay? So, love you guys. Mean it. Have a grand rest of the day. We'll catch up, and we'll see you guys on Savage Patriots at 6:30 today. Y'all have a grand one. Wisdom calls to you from the street. Please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die.